Hello and welcome to India Tonight. I'm Karan Thakur. Tonight we focus on the situation in Pakistan. How serious is the battle against the Taliban? How much popular support is there for it? And how will Pakistan handle the millions of displaced persons who are now refugees in their own country? Tonight we bring together three voices from Pakistan: Awami National Party Senator Afrasiab Khattak, former NWFP Chief Secretary Khalid Aziz, and member of the Pakistan National Assembly Bushra Gohar. Senator Khattak, let's start with the present battle against the Taliban in Swat, Buner and Dir. As you see it, is this an attempt to eliminate the Taliban altogether, or is it largely being done to appease American pressure?
No, the strategy is quite clear. The government of Pakistan is determined to get rid of Taliban once and for all. There is this area of Malakand division is a settled area, so the priority is to clean it up first. But it's not limited to this area. I think the military operations will go to tribal areas also, where there are people who have crossed over from Afghanistan during the recent fighting against Americans. So the purpose is quite clear. We wouldn't like to have militants and militancy, even their ideology, their presence, physical presence, and also the position that they have taken. It is against a modern state. They would like to turn Pakistan into a failed state, which we wouldn't allow.
Ms. Kaur, if this is a fight to the finish, then what is often said to question that is that in September the Pakistan Army launched a campaign against the Taliban in Bajor, where they were successful initially, they cleared the area, then the army retreated and the Taliban returned. This time round, therefore, is the army mentally prepared to stay for months, maybe even years, so that they establish complete authority and control?
Well, the army was there also in 2008 in Swat, and we found that the whole problem spread to the entire Swat. And
despite
also,
the army's presence?
Yes, and also spread to Malakand, the other parts, the other districts. So we in the Awami National Party questioned the strategy that was being used, and this time there's a lot of pressure. There's also people's support to the operations this time, and that is why the difference between the operations now and the operations in 2008 or 2007 in Swat is that the people want now that the place should be cleared, and they're not going to allow anything less than that. They want the leadership to be caught and brought to book, and that is the kind of pressure. The people of Malakand and Pakhtunkhwa, Northwest Frontier Province, would like this menace to be cleared. So in that sense, I think there is a slight difference this time. We are still watching the strategies that are being applied this time round, because we want it to be very precise, very surgical, and we want them, the leadership to be caught, not just a lot of bombing.
You spoke in great length about the people's support and the people's desire. Is that matched by a similar commitment by the administration and the army to maintain a presence for as long as it takes?
You see, Malakand, basically, even if we clear Malakand, we would have just won a battle. The real war has still to be fought, and that is going to be in the tribal areas and in Waziristan. So in that sense, I feel that it is a long haul, and it has to be, the commitment has to be there in Islamabad for a long haul, but a very precise one, you know this.
Mr. Aziz, as you heard Ms. Gohar say, the real fight is going to be in the tribal areas, and particularly in Waziristan, which is the stronghold of Baitullah Masood. How easy or difficult will that be?
Waziristan historically has been a very tough nut to crack. I mean, you look at the background to this region, right from its contact with civilization, which goes back to the Mughal times. They've been known as a very aggressive people. It's a warrior caste. And right in 1936 onwards till 47, we had the Fakir of Iti fighting the British. Then after independence, we had, with the army moving out of Waziristan, relative peace. After 2001 9/11 incident, there has been the reintroduction of forces into this area, and the tribal area now boasts of about 120,000 troops, which are within that region. Now that calls for a reaction. If you have a warrior caste on one side, in an honor-driven society, it's not going to keep quiet. The whole system recognizes valor and bravery, and we, by introducing the military over there, have given them the opportunity to exploit opportunities for coming out as a brave young lad.
Can I interrupt you then? So are you suggesting that a further enhancement of the military in Waziristan, which is essential if they're going to tackle the Taliban in the tribal areas, is actually going to make the situation worse?
What I'm saying is that the way to tackle it is to use the frontier corps, which is the troops who are themselves tribesmen and who have handled the Bajor operations so effectively. You did refer to Bajor having a relapse. There is only the Charmong Valley which is presently causing problems. But I think that is connected to border management with Kunar, which is in Afghanistan.
Senator Khattak, one of the things that you heard Mr. Aziz touch on is the manner in which this could have implications for your own army. After all, 20% of your army is of Pashtun origin. What sort of strains is it imposing, or is that an exaggerated concern?
Well, Pakistan Army is a disciplined force. I don't think there's going to be any problem if they have to fight in Waziristan, they'll fight. The question is that military operation is just one dimension of the solution. It's not the solution.
But is it not the first dimension? All others have to follow a military campaign first?
Well, yeah, I agree that they have to defeat the military. But that FATA, our Federal Administered Tribal Area, has been used as strategic space rather than an area that is inhabited by people who have rights, who have an identity. I think the time has come to reform FATA, to merge it into the mainstream of Pakistan. I think it's the unfinished agenda of state building project in Pakistan. It was neglected. It was political backyard, social backyard. The time has come to change all this.
What about the prevarication of the civilian government over the last year? Many people outside Pakistan felt, and increasingly even within Pakistan, that the civilian authorities should have responded faster. Have they been slow? And are they, or are they simply half-hearted about it?
Well, in Islamabad, at least these things do take some time. You don't immediately expect results. What has happened, and we've seen the change that has happened in Malakand, where now the people support an operation, when in the past there was some support for the militants also. Now that is gone, and this is, I think, the way the political government used all options, before getting to the last option, which is the...
In other words, what we see as prevarication outside Pakistan was an essential strategic process to go through to exhaust other options before the military campaign had validity.
Yes, and so the process has been very useful, also getting all political parties behind this, what is going on in Malakand right now. I personally feel that even in the parliament, we've had in-camera sessions where we've debated and discussed the situation. We've had all parties conference on this issue. So the process is equally important, in getting everyone behind a certain action.
Mr. Aziz, you mentioned a moment ago that the real fight in places like Waziristan would have to be with the frontier corps actually leading the campaign rather than the army. Is that because you're concerned that this could have structural implications on the Pakistan army, or is there another reason for it?
The army is trained and equipped to fight a conventional war. Here you are fighting a sort of an insurgency.
But the paramilitary is not trained for an insurgency either.
It is more trained now than it was in the past. There are capacity building programs underway, and the fighting that is taken in Bajor has been headed by the Frontier Corps. And as a matter of fact, it's being used more extensively now than in the past.
So do you remember when